Hey, good people, this is HammerTime. Today, I'm here with Dr. Sonnie Badu at Rock Hill Church, Stone Mountain. My brother, how you doing?
Hey, HammerTime, how are you?
Yeah, man, I'm good.
Good to see you.
Same here. I was here last night, and I saw how you handle your church. I saw the facility, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
How do you select your teams for your congregation? Was ritual marriage? I love the
message.
The message.
So, first of all, thank you for coming over. It was a short time of preparation, but hey, we're ready for it. So, how this church came together was that God told me to raise a people, power them, and then let them possess the city gates. So the structure of the church is very simple. Sundays are for empowerment. Better word being used, motivation, building you up for the business world. But Tuesdays are for deliverances,
right,
where we go deep. We teach you about things that you perhaps are going through, but you didn't know that it was spiritual. So Tuesdays are our nights of deliverances, and then Sundays are our nights of empowerment. So what I was teaching on Tuesday, which you came for, was I was going down into breaking down what spiritual marriages are, and perhaps the deliverance you saw was as a result of what we were teaching.
It's something that is happening, or we shouldn't really take it that serious when it comes to spiritual marriage.
It is something that is happening, but people haven't had solutions for it. I'll tell you a story. This morning, one of my daughters in New York, who never misses our services, she's an e-church member, had a party to go to, but told the friend I gotta stay in for Dr. Badu's service. So a stranger comes in and begs her that she has an appointment. So she sits in the salon with her, and then she switches the service on. Hear this. Whilst this woman is watching, she now says, "Oh my God, I think I have a spiritual husband, or I've had a spiritual husband for 12 years. And because of that, I had to divorce my husband." Number one. Number two, after that, I have not been able to marry. Number three, this person literally sleeps with me 3 times a day, and he rapes me. I thought it was normal. I didn't know how I could get help. Whilst I was delivering people here in the service, they were receiving their deliverance on the screen in New York.
Right.
A lot of people are suffering, but don't have help. So this message is so timely and perfect at this time, and that's what we're here to do.
I came to meet the service, and when I came, you were delivering the marriage, spiritual marriage. You were here for like 3 hours. Where do you get your energy from? I was like, is he not tired? You know.
Well, you got in 2 hours after I had started.
Exactly. So I was like, ooh, I'm wondering when you're free, hey.
Well,
but later I just realized that you like football. Are you a footballer?
Of course, I used to be a footballer. So mind you, people on Tuesdays are coming from all over the states. Some are flying from different states. Some are driving 10 hours, 15 hours. And they're all coming to receive their deliverances. So whereas you're dealing with this person, you have to also deal with that person and deal with that person, because you cannot let them go empty-handed, okay? Like after service, one of the ladies who had to wait behind said, "Thank you." She came all the way from Iowa, and she received her deliverance. And when she was going, she said, "Thank you. Now I have a question. How do I remain in this presence? I don't want to lose it." So the reason why it takes longer is because there's so many cases I gotta deal with. Like a medical doctor who goes to the hospital, sometimes based on the cases you have to stay longer. So that's what it is.
Okay, so I've learned to realize that to know somebody present, you should look back. Growing up, did you ever thought that you would do music or would be a prophet or a pastor?
I was born into a music family. I keep telling people my grandfather is the famous now. People know him of his songs, but they don't know that that's it. That's my grandfather. Is the famous Akwesimenu. I not know him, but I'm gonna sing his songs now. Akwesimenu maye breve. Akwesimenu kente uko. Idana mada kente uko. That's my grandfather. Or Obinfire nana say mami. Obinfire nana say mami. And I say Ajimana noni. That's my dad's father. Unfortunately, he died before my father was born. So that musical side came from him. Yeah. So music has been in my bloodline from conception. Yeah. In terms of the ministry, my father is a pastor. Of course, I knew that one day the calling of God will come on me finally. My father told me several times. The problem was I was not interested. I never wanted to do it. I based on how I saw people treat my dad as a pastor, I just didn't want to know. But I guess when the calling comes on you, you have no choice. You got to respond to it.
How are you protecting your grandpa, your grandfather, and their music?
His legacy?
Your legacy. How are you protecting their songs?
I quite remember many years ago, my dad went to GBC and they found some old records of him. And as time bypassed, everything wiped out. But thank God for Sonnie Badu. I'll keep talking about my grandfather. And I think he's very proud of me in his grave.
You know why I asked this? Because looking at our system, Ghana, we don't really, we don't say shares, why we don't respect old age. The current situation in Ghana, Abin Christian is gone, and an unproduced funeral is this Saturday. Watches own was last week. PAC's funeral is next week. AB Christian is around November. It looks like entertainers at their old age
die in pain.
Exactly.
Die in agony. Die perhaps cursing. I heard the watcher died. Even a hospital, a bed, he could not get it. I wonder what he said before he took his final breath. I think the government, the president, whoever is on ruling the country, should really focus on ensuring that these legends, people who were in the entertainment scene, kept us going. Once upon a time, we had Osofo-Dazi, we had Obra, we had all these people that Thursday theater, we had Mr. Mensa, and all of these people, they kept us going.
Oh, this guy too is gone. What's his name?
Taxi driver, TT is gone.
No, just a few days ago, Coblanson.
Yeah, he's also gone. It's like there's this thing about Ghana, you get to a certain stage, oh, wait, Trim, that's it. I've never seen or never known an actor or an actress that's expired. Even in their old age, they can still play an old role. You check Hollywood, Clint Eastwood was still acting even in his 70s or whichever. But Ghana has that mindset, you get to a certain age, if you go quiet, it means you're outdated. And that causes a lot of pain with these guys. When you see some of their state of living, it's so painful because it's like they've wasted their investment too. They didn't raise their kids well, perhaps. The finances was not that much, and so their kids cannot even take on their father's legacy, and that's painful, so painful. I wonder what they said before they died. Even if they're doing these honorary concerts, they just give you a plaque and give you 3,000 Ghana. What would that do for you? You know, and now the problem here is that you get a lot of people now streamlining their songs on YouTube and making money out of it. And these guys, because there is no system, they don't even make a penny out of it. So they die in pain, they die in agony. And do not play with the words of of whoever is about to die. Do not play with the things they say before they leave this world. I wonder what they've been saying.
Just this morning, I saw a video of Shatta Wale angrily shouting. See from the face that it's bitter. Talking to the president like the street is hot, the street is complaining, but people are not telling the truth. A whole lot. Is it a curse to be in the entertainment industry in Ghana?
I wouldn't want to go too much into it, so I'm taken out of context. But I think the industry needs a Shatta Wale who will speak his mind. I know sometimes he goes all aggressive and all of that, but sometimes when you take the aggressiveness on the side and you listen to the content or what he's trying to say, he's making sense. And sometimes his frustration is validated because certain things shouldn't be going on the way it should. I watched a little bit of what he was saying, and I heard even with the global citizens thing, they didn't want to put him on. Shatta is a street boy. Why didn't you have Shatta on there? That's not my business. However, I think we are putting politics or taking politics to every field, and it's no more Ghana centered. It's individual centered and what they can make in their pocket. And so you mind your business. So coming back to legacy, I'm glad God made me who I am to talk about the story of my grandfather. And I'm a proud grandson of the old man.
So for them, you don't really have the records. I know.
My father couldn't access the records, and we can't find it. I think my dad even lost his picture. He never grew up with his dad. So I don't even know how he looks like. It's a story I hardly talk about, but I carry his blood. And thank God I can stand at a better position to speak about him on an international platform.
Yes, the vision of HammerTime is to engage artists who are 10 years and above in the industry. And so far, I think you are number 137 of artists who are 10 years and above in the industry. And I decided to do this because I realized that my colleagues, they were not interested in the old guys because they are not trending. And I'm happy that most of them are now getting space in the media to express themselves. Most of them, they even have records. They have the passion to come back, but find the best still. That has been the problem. A few weeks ago, I took an award in New York for HammerTime, and I'm happy that people are really enjoying the show now. Engaging you today, I want to look at the musical side of welcome to the church. How do you prepare for shows?
First of all, let me talk about this 10 years and above. What people need to understand is music never expires. Music gets better and it gets better and it gets better. If you don't have a long-term vision, then you get stuck halfway down the line. However, you cannot trend forever. So you always have to plan ahead of time. That's all it is. That's a whole philosophy of music management. On record, I've gone past 10 years. On records, it's, I think, 12 years. But if I'm to calculate where I've gone past 10 years, and my philosophy of preparation is very simple. Taking every detailed information very serious. Number two, philosophy of preparation, never get familiar with your audience. In other words, what you heard me sing here, if you meet me there, you're not going to hear me sing it the same way I sang it here. I can change songs 35 times. Oh yes. My creative engine, in fact, my band members will tell you, in order to work with Sonnie Badu, you got to be creative, because he could change everything anytime and expect you to get it. My musical ears are very sharp. Most of the things you hear, I created everything, from hornsmen to guitars to everything. So I'm very hands-on with my music. That's why Baba Open the Floodgate has never faded out in almost 12 years, because you would never hear it the same. It's always changing. So my philosophy is paying attention to details during preparation and not taking any audience as ordinary, valuing that audience, and whatever you value, you prepare adequately for. And so till date, we're still feeling stadiums, arenas. 2019 before COVID, We packed out DAR Constitution with over 5,000 people. Paid concert. During the COVID time, we had a lot of virtual concerts, collaborating with the Ghana ambassador then, and then COVID is over. I've been to Ivory Coast. We did a outdoor event. I'm about to do New York Times Square, and the nothing has changed. We're getting better, and we're getting better, and we're getting better. We're not stopping now. We're just starting.
How do you hold your audience with a band? How do you sustain them?
Okay.
To be on their feet.
It's the power of creativity.
Okay.
It's the power of synergy. Once you're there to serve the audience. My team will tell you again, before every event, I prepare for that particular crowd. I want to find out what songs they love. I want to find out which of my songs they're familiar with. I do my research. Why? Because I understand the power of engaging. I cannot bring a song that I want to introduce to you by force, shove it under your neck and lose your attention. So give me 4 hours, 5 hours, I can keep you going. And then I also make room for creativity.
Okay.
Trust me, with a New York concert, there's going to be a time I will create songs right there, which the audience can participate right there with the band. So it is always ever fresh and ever new when it's my concert. I enjoy it because the art of creativity is always applied.
Yeah, you're here with me and Sonnie Badu, Doctor. This is HammerTime. This show is brought to you by Betway, Transformation Beauty Salon, TUC Kumasi. Just go there, the best salon in town. And also NLA, Kandu Cosmetics, and MPG. Your playlist. How often do you sometimes change your playlist as you see the crowd?
My team will tell you again. I can give them a list of 60 songs.
Okay.
And it will change entirely because I just felt in my spirit we should go this way. I could give them a list again and take some out right there. Song number 4, 5, out. It's not coming in. We're going to 6. And they know my signs, they know my finger symbols, they know everything, they know what I'm saying, and we switch there. Why? Because I'm looking at the audience and I know what food to give to them. So it's just synchronizing with the atmosphere, engaging them and ensuring you don't lose their attention. It's so much fun. I love it.
Okay, so let's come back to music. You're still in music. How many albums so far?
So we have Colors of Africa. That was the first one. Then I took time to pace it out, and sure, you see, it's not about how many albums you quickly release. You've got to know what audience and what platform you have. As Africans, a lot of mistakes people do is that they want to release an album every year. No, you're wrong. You can't do that. Otherwise, the new ones you release will sink the old ones. Why? We don't have enough mediums to project what you've released in 1 year. An American would release it and the whole world would play it. A lot of DJs will play it in Africa and they don't even know these artists. So the song travels everywhere. But as an African, you release a song and you have to hit the road yourself and make a lot of noise.
Yes,
this means that you could not walk according to the pace of these other guys who have all these platforms to project their songs. So I have Colors of Africa. It was incredible.
How many songs on the album?
I think we had about 30 songs, back-to-back medleys. That's what we had. Akuna Wakaitas. That album has hit millions. I've till date, I'm still high on Boom playlist. I'm tired of collecting the streamlining 3 million, 4 million till date. That album is 11 years old. Till date, it's still leading streamliners. Okay. Then we did from Colors of Africa, we went to Sounds of Africa. That's when so with every album, there's a particular hit song that I know this one is it. This is what we're gonna do. So for Sounds of Africa, we knew the Hakuna would do. We knew the Eshe Oluwa, Eshe, that became big. We had a lot of songs on there. Then Rhythms of Africa.
That was last year?
Sounds of Africa. Colors of Africa. Then Sounds of Africa. We had My Soul Says Yes. That one went all over the world. I mean, all over the world. Then I made Jonathan Nelson. I featured Jonathan on Baba, Open the Floodgates. That also went skyrocket. Then from that album, we now started focusing on singles because we realized that based on how things were going, people were not really interested in albums anymore. That's when we were moving from CDs to digital now. So we sold a lot of CDs, but we realized that no, at this time, releasing album is a waste of time.
Right.
So we started releasing singles. Then I now did Rhythms of Africa. What am I doing? I'm still sticking to my genre. Colors of Africa, Sounds of Africa, Rhythms of Africa. So we have 3 solid albums, successful albums to our records. Okay, not including the singles, the Wonder Gods, the I Hail You, all that we've released, and it's been a blessing to the world.
Are you making money from music?
Oh my God. Let's just
your expenditure.
Let's just say some of these lands I own and these houses I have all over is out of my royalties from music. And so I made sure from this side of the world, everything was done properly. Everything was done very well. And so even if I die and go, my children's children will benefit from my music royalties.
Fame, how are you managing it?
I think fame comes with the job, but what helps me is I am an extreme introvert. People don't know that, but I'm a very quiet person. I don't like to talk. I only engage people in what I take interest in. That helps me to be quiet. So when the crowd is, oh my God, Sonnie, that literally makes me sink in quiet and go into my room or go quiet. But then when I have to play that part, sign autographs, take pictures, I have time for my audience. I can stand and take pictures with 2,000 people, sign autographs for 4,000 people, and still be there, make sure everybody's okay, because it's about them. It's not about me. So even when my team is like, you're tired, I'm like, nope, I gotta work. I'm here because of them.
Social media, a big problem when it comes to shades, trolls. Sometimes they comment to be, who will come after you. How do you do it?
It comes with the job, okay? What upsets me, okay, is sometimes the type and kind of people who just had a little credit on their phone, perhaps no light at home, and they have the audacity to push a word, to disrespect you, and then it's like a whole host of houseflies jump on what they've said and make it big. What I normally say is, if you're a brave man, come and stand in front of me and say what you want to say, because I'm not afraid to say that. However, those who are higher thinkers will always understand what I'm saying, because I'm not afraid to speak my peace of mind. I'm not afraid to speak the truth.
As a man of God, how do you advise the congregation or the people who watch you on the things they see on social media and the videos that they do on social media?
You've got to be responsible for whatever you say or you do. The good news here is that I hardly have members who would go and do that anyway.
Yeah.
So perhaps it's a good question to ask, to answer for the future. But social media is the new thing now. You've got to know how to control and handle social media to your advantage. I'll tell you what, I have solidified my audience. My audience are not too much on social media. They are the old school people, but they are loyals. New York will be packed. My loyal fans are my loyal fans. However, social media is the in thing. If you are not active on social media, people will think you're done. So you've got to always be current. Find things to get involved in. find something to say which is current. That's why if they're not interested in the messages I've put on, I'll say something about football.
Yeah.
Or I'll give a word or a voice to something that's current. And you see 1,000 people coming, 2,000. I know exactly what I'm doing. I cannot be quiet. I've got to find something to say.
Reasons from Quick Action.
Come again?
Quick Action. You know Quick Action?
No.
An engineer, a sound engineer in Ghana.
Okay.
Anyway, he sends his greetings to you.
I appreciate
Okay, I want to talk about
some of them have different names, but I probably know them by another name or a different name, yeah. But
Joseph Appeal. Anyway,
please send him my love.
Let's talk about studio session.
Mm-hmm.
How do you write your songs? How do you get your lyrics? How often do you go to the studio to record?
I only go to the studio when I have a song. I don't go to the studio because I must record and I'm sitting there waiting. No. What I realized about my kind of ministry is I birth songs out of pain. Every song that has become a hit was birthed out of a circumstance, a situation, or an experience. And so with the experience I have, whatever I'm going through, I'm like, that's another opportunity for another song. And it comes naturally. One of the songs I wrote last year, I Have Confidence in You. I was at a very bad place. Listen.
Very bad place.
Very bad place. Very, very bad place. And I told the team I wanted to record Rhythms of Africa. They're like, are you sure? I said, yeah, I want to. They said, no, you don't look emotionally ready. I said, I'll do it. And I broke down when I was recording it. But everything I said, my team knew to tell the engineer, press record. And when we played it after, everything made sense. And that song is one of my biggest songs I've ever written. I Have Confidence. So how I write my songs is, if there is nothing to write about, I'll not write about anything. Most of the songs I write are about my life, my story, or an event that I went through, that God brought me out. I had to tell a story to help somebody come out of it.
The bad place, was it family oriented? Was it business?
I will talk about it after the show.
After the show?
It was bad. Hammer. It was bad. It was bad.
Who entertains the entertainer?
Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. The Bible says, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. At that time, everybody just left it. But God came through. Oh my God, he came through. But that trauma, I'm still traumatized by that event. I still have not recovered.
Oh, really?
I'm telling you.
How long did it take?
2 years. I still have not recovered. I don't talk about it, but I still have not recovered from it.
What's the best advice you got from dad?
My father.
That rings a bell.
My dad. If you go anywhere, any place, whatever they give you, say thank you and walk away.
Mom?
Mom, never forget to say thank you to God. In fact, whatever you do, she'll be the first to come and say, hey, even if I make a statement on social media, Mama will text me and say, hey, make sure you glorify God first. They are so super spiritual, it's just not funny. But they've been my lifeline. They've shaped my life. And they're so proud of me. And I'm proud of them too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Age when I identify your talent
from childbirth. They apparently, when you listen to my stories, apparently I was just musically inclined. At the age of 5, I would take mommy's stuff and in the kitchen and be playing rhythms and be playing music, making music. They all knew it. What my dad also did which was really good, is he bought me a lot of instruments. He engaged my visual cortexes and auditory cortexes. So I was always around music. And I bless God for what they did for me. So
both of them were okay with you doing music?
It got to a stage, they changed my journey. I still think they should have made me do it. But that's when they decided to take me to a building construction school, GSTS, and to study building construction. I mean, I love that, but I think I should have gone further with the music, and I would have become an even more creative musician. Now I play stuff with my brains and my mouth, but I struggle to play. And I think it's because my mom, my dad didn't focus on what they needed to do.
Looking at your personality, your charisma, why your larger audience old school?
Old school.
Yeah. Because I think you appeal to the youth. Oh?
I think I'm very blessed with all genres.
Okay.
I'm very blessed with all generations. I have a huge amount of old school. I have a huge amount of youth, and I have a huge amount of kids, like the New York concert. You would see all kinds of people there. And I think I've been able to feed every set of generation with what they truly need. I'm able to still live in 2022 and give them what they need and still go back to the old school and sing my hymns and get them there. I think it's about knowing your audience, knowing times and seasons, and knowing what to deliver, which God has blessed me with.
A lot of people know you to be a musician. When did the pastoral thing start?
It started for people when they saw it, but it's always been around. In fact, for the past 10 years, I've been preaching more than I've been singing. What I did was I didn't let the world see the preaching side because I wanted them to focus on my music. 10 years ago, if they saw me going round to preach, my music wouldn't have been effective because based on where I'm coming from, Rebecca said, preaching also be preaching. So I was preaching. My itinerary from January to December was jam-packed, but then I always projected the musical side. 10 years ago, I knew 10 years to come, I was going to plant this church. I knew it. I've lived more in America than I lived in London, but I made people think I lived in London. Even with my wedding, I only got to London 3 days before my wedding. I finished it and flew back to America. But I had to let the audience assume that I lived in London, because at that time, I needed them to focus on the music and not the preaching side. When it was time to start the church, I announced it. People said, oh, he's just starting. No, I've been doing it for many years. And you've been here. Yeah. Does this look like something we just started?
No.
We've been around 4 years. A lot of people have been around 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. What we've done in 4 years, they haven't done that. Even take out 2 years of COVID, where we had to shut down churches. Because at a point in time, we could not fit into this building. COVID hit, of course, some people had to stay home. But now, we can see that we're building it back again. So it's about forecasting and having a plan ahead of time, which I've always done.
Who's your godfather?
My godfather.
Yes.
My godfather.
Who inspired you to establish a church?
I think it's my biological father. He always told me I will definitely establish a church. I was just waiting for God's timing, and God made it clear it was time. I was in Dallas preaching, and I heard him clearly. He said, it's time. I said, I'm not interested. And I heard him clearly. I got to Atlanta. He showed me where it was. When I got there, my landlord then was a Spanish man. He came out and said, I've been waiting for you. Oh, that's a whole miracle altogether, how it all happened. And we stayed there for 1 year. After the 1 year, I moved the church here, renovated this place, and we've been here for 3 years, going 4 years. But it'll be our 5th year, 2023. So I think I've always had a master plan. Even planning when my children will come, when they'll be born, where they'll be born. Everything has been planned. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Did you study under anyone?
Ministry.
Bishop, yeah, the ministry.
Of course, Pastor Kingsley Appiaje in London. I served him in Trinity for almost 20 years. He's my spiritual father. Man of integrity, a man of great excellence. Most of the things I do in terms of excellence, it's him. Before I do it, I've got to pass it by him. Dad, what do you think? He'd say, no, take it out or don't. I remember one of my Sounds of Africa album. There was a hymn that was playing. With countless gifts of joy and still is all praise and thanks to God. And then I spoke in tongues. I was like Labo Shabala Gayada and all of that. Then he said, son, take that out. Yeah. He said, take the tongues out. That's my spiritual father. I said, yes, Dad.
Did you ask him why?
No. You see, let me tell you. God puts people in your life. When God has put a father in your life, you obey before you complain. You don't complain before you obey. Sometimes they don't even know why they're saying it. You understand? I understand that philosophy. I've served him 20 years. If he says, don't bring this song out, I will not even. Later on, I said, Dad, you said it, but why did you say that? Then if he wants to explain it, he will. But I trust him so much, and I trust the God that speaks through him to me so much, that the moment he said, take it out, I took it out. Then later on, I said, Dad, why did you let me take it out? He said, your album is a global album. How many global albums have you heard the artists speaking in tongues? I said, no. He said, you see, I'm not even in your field, but I know this. And he was right. I took it out. And that's what the global market requires. There's certain things the industry market will not require, irrespective of how spiritual you are. You can't be shabalaba shebele. No, it doesn't work that way. So that's why even with songs that you record, they also have the radio play. There are rules and regulations for the international industry, and these are things that people don't know. So my spiritual father has been very instrumental in my life.